Good evening all. Welcome to this Java programming tutorial, lecture number 6. In this tutorial, in today's lecture, we'll talk about operators. Operators especially in Java, the various operators in Java. So the various operators in Java include arithmetic operators, increment, decrement operators, relational operators, logical operators, assignment operator, conditional operator, bitwise operators. So in previous video, we covered these arithmetic operators. Those who have not gone through that video, pause this video and you can listen to the previous video, get the concepts of arithmetic operators, then come back to this video. Today, we'll talk about increment, decrement operators and other relational logical operators in this video. So Java provides two special operators called as plus plus and minus minus, and these two are called as increment and decrement operators. Plus plus is called increment operator and minus minus is called decrement operator. So increment operator plus plus increases its operand by 1. The value of the operand is increased by 1. Whenever we want to increase the value of an operand by 1, we can use this plus plus or increment operator. For example, consider this statement. Say how we write to add 1 to a variable, we'll write like this: x is equal to x plus 1. This is the general way of incrementing or adding 1 to a variable's value. And again, the result we are storing back in the same variable. Okay, so this means that you are increasing the value of the variable by 1. So instead of writing x is equal to x plus 1, we can use increment operator and we can rewrite this statement using the increment operator as x plus plus, x followed by plus plus ending with a semicolon. Okay, so this is how we can use increment operator in Java programming. Okay, so it is equivalent to x plus plus is equivalent to x is equal to x plus 1 only. So what it will do, it increases. When you say x plus plus, the value of x, you are informing the compiler to increase the value or increment the value of the variable x by 1. So the compiler increases the value of variable by 1. It performs the same kind of operation. Similarly, the decrement operator minus minus is called decrement operator. It decreases the value of its operand by 1. So whenever we want to reduce the value of an operand by 1, then we can use this decrement operator minus minus. So if we consider an example here, generally if we want to reduce the value of a variable, how we write? X is equals to x minus 1 will write. And instead of writing this, the same statement, we can rewrite using the decrement operator like x minus minus. Very handy and short way of writing the same expression here, x minus minus. Okay, so this informs the compiler to decrease the value of x by 1. This is how we can increment or decrease the value of a variable by 1. Then we can use increment or decrement operators. So first we'll talk about increment operator in detail, how it can be used, what it does. Okay, so I plus plus, if I write an expression I plus plus, okay, so what the compiler will do? What does it mean to the compiler? It is nothing but we are informing the compiler first to use the value of I and then increment it by 1. So when you write I plus plus, that means first the operand, then followed by operator. This plus plus is called operator. Okay. So in this case, first the value of I will be used. Then after that, then the value of I will be incremented by 1. Okay. So it can be I plus plus is equivalent to I is equal to I plus 1. See here, I enclosed in a parenthesis. That means first use the value of I. The current value of I is used here. Okay. Then after the value of I is incremented. See here. Okay. So this is called as a post increment operator. This is called as post increment. That means you are writing the operator after the operand. Post means after. After the operand, we are writing this operator. Okay, so this is called post increment operator. Post means increment afterwards. That is what we are informing the compiler. Increment the value of the variable afterwards. Then first what it has to do, it has to use the value of a variable first, then increment it by 1. That is how we are informing the compiler. Or when you write a post increment statement like this I plus plus, then the compiler will do the same thing. Similarly, we can also write a operator first, then followed by operand. Plus plus I we can write. When we write a expression of this kind, plus plus I, what does it mean? First increment the value of I by 1, then use that new value. Use that new value. This is what the message we are informing to the compiler. Okay, so plus plus I, if it has to be evaluated internally, how it can be written as I is equal to I plus 1. This entire I plus 1 is in parenthesis, nothing but first you calculate I plus 1, I plus 1 is calculated. That means I value is incremented first, then again assigned to I. Okay, so that means this is called pre-increment. First value, pre means before. Before using I value, you increment first, then use it. That is what the compiler will do. Okay, so this increment decrement operators we can use in two forms, either post increment operator or pre-increment operator. In these two forms we can use. So post means afterwards. That means increment afterwards. First use the value, then increment afterwards. Pre-increment means first increment, then use the value of I. Okay, so when you increment, you will get new value into the variable. Okay, so then that new value has to be used. Okay, so we consider a simple example here. Say int I is equal to 4. I've taken a variable I with initial value 4. Okay, so if I write a system.out.print method, I is equal to say I plus plus if I write. Okay, so what is the value of I printed here? Okay, so here what is the task? Printing I value is the first task. Then after incrementing I value. So first what it will do? First it uses the current value of I. That means current value of I is 4. So that I is equal to 4 it prints first. I value is used first, then after incremented. Then after incremented. Okay, so that means first it prints I is equal to 4. Then afterwards in memory I value becomes a 5. Inside the memory I value becomes a 5. Okay, so if we consider the memory diagram of this, for example, if the memory of I is like this, so what is happening inside the memory that we need to keep track. If you want to know the variable's current value, always follow memory diagram. It is better. Okay, so when you say I is equal to 4, then value 4 will be stored in a I. Now when you write a statement in printf like this, I plus plus post means increment afterwards. Okay, so first I value is used first. Okay, so that means I value will be taken first here. So I value, that means what is the I value? 4. So 4 is taken here. So when the statement is executed, 4 will be printed first, then I value is incremented. So after printing that, I value becomes a 5. I value becomes a 5. If you use one more printf statement, one more println statement here, then it prints I value as 5. In the second way, see here, system.out.print plus I if I use. See, I is equal to plus I. There should be a space here between this plus and plus I. Then it is taken as a plus I. Otherwise, compiler gives error. Okay. So pre-increment. Pre means first you increment. That is what we are informing. So first I value will be incremented. I value, what is the current value of I here? See, after this, I have one more print statement. Okay. So current value of I is 5. So first I value is incremented. I value is incremented. I value becomes a 6 now. I value becomes a 6. Okay. So then that new value will be used in the print method. Okay. So when it prints I value is printed as a 6 here. Okay. So how computer evaluates these two statements, that we need to understand, and we should evaluate very carefully in expressions.
Excuse me,
Otherwise,
sir.
yeah, please.
Sir, like, do we need to take the current values each and every time?
Current value?
Like, do we only need to take the current value for the second one which we are evaluating, sir?
Yes.
Like, if for example, like the post increment is down, and then do we need to take the current value even same for the post increment?
No. If this is the second statement, if this is the
Yeah,
second
yeah.
statement, okay, if say this is the second statement, okay, so this will be the first statement, then I value you have to take as 4.
Yeah. But here, like for the second statement, we have to go with the current value every
Current
time,
value, yes.
whatever it might be.
Yeah. Okay, so whenever
Okay.
you, by the time you reach this statement, what is the current value of I you have to look into. You should not
So,
go
like
with the
for
initialization. Yes.
okay. Sir, for example, like we don't have the first statement and we only have the this one pre-increment. So
Okay.
like the I is equal to 4, and then what will we get the output, sir? Only
Yeah,
5, right?
you please tell what is the
I
output.
guess 5, sir. Like,
Yeah. Okay. So first you are informing the compiler to increment. Pre-increment means first I value is incremented 5. I value
yeah.
becomes 5, and then that value is used here. So then it prints I is equal to 5. Yes.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So this is how we can evaluate expressions. Okay. First, if we
Okay.
use this statement, second, if we use this statement, what happens? This way we can learn the concepts. Okay.
Yes.
When we write program, you need to test in these ways. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Right. Similarly, decrement operator, I minus minus. Okay. So post decrement, this is called a post decrement. That means first use I value, then decrement it by 1. That is how we are informing the compiler. Okay. So it is equivalent to I is equal to I first. See here, I have kept in a parenthesis. That means first I value is used, then decremented. Okay. So the new value of I will be 1 decremented value. Okay. So this is called post decrement. Same is the case with the pre decrement. Minus I. First decrement, then use that value. Okay. So see, int I is equal to 7. If I take a variable I containing the value 7, same case. Okay. I minus if I print, what it will print? First, I value is printed here. So 7 will be printed. Then I value
7 minus
becomes
1, 6.
6. I value becomes 6. Okay. So in terms of
Okay.
memory diagram, current value of I will be 6 here. So in the next print method, if I say I is equal to minus I. So first,
The I
I
value
value
is 6
decrement.
here.
So I value 6, then
6 minus
becomes
1,
5.
5.
Then that
Yes.
5 will be printed here. Okay. So I value will be
Okay.
printed as 5. Okay. So that is how these increment and decrement operators are evaluated. Okay. Right.
Okay.
Now, what is the value of x and y if we use in expressions like this? Can you guess?
So 1 minute. X is equal to
So what
Plus
values of
one.
x and y will be printed? That is okay. So as per use the same concept, apply the same concept here, and try to evaluate these values. Okay, so better go with the memory diagrams. Okay, so it is always better draw the memory diagram for both the variables so that your task becomes easy. Okay, so if this is the memory allocated for x, and if this is the memory allocated for y, if you consider, okay, so if this is x and if this is y, okay, so x is initially 42 here, right? Y no
Yes.
value. Now see here, y is equal to plus plus x. There are two operations here, increment and assignment. Okay, now pre-increment, this is plus plus x means
Pre-increment.
pre-increment. Pre-increment means first increment.
Yes, and
Okay,
then
that
assign.
means before assigning, first you increment. That is what we are informing the compiler. So x value is incremented. So x value becomes 43 here. First x value is incremented. Yes or no? So x
Yes,
value
sir.
becomes 43 here.
43.
Okay, then that 43 will be assigned to
Y.
okay. So after incrementing, it is nothing but y is equal to x, just like this. Okay, so then
So
so what
43
is
will
x
be
value?
Y.
43. That 43 is assigned to y. So y contains 43. Now when you print x and y values, what are printed here? Both x will be 43 and y is also 43.
Okay.
Clear?
Yes.
Okay, so how it is calculated internally, if you split this, okay, so the same line is equivalent to writing of these two statements. Okay, it is nothing but
Oh.
see the same single statement, it is equivalent to these two statements. Actually internally this is how it is evaluated. Okay, so when you say y is equal to
Okay.
plus plus x, first x value is incremented. That means this calculation is performed as x is equal to x plus 1 is performed. So
Okay.
42 plus 1 is 43. That will be stored again back in x. Nothing but x value becomes 43. Then y is equal to x.
Y. Assign.
So this x value is assigned to y. Nothing but what is the value of x? Current value. Always we need to
43.
look into current value. 43 will be stored into y.
Okay.
Okay, right. Now having known this, let us go to this statement. If I write y is equal to x plus plus, what are x and y values printed here? Yeah, give your answers. We'll
Yes.
so first SOP method prints what? X value.
X is sorry, sir, I did not get you, sir.
Yeah, you can tell any of these, whichever is
So,
comfortable.
sir, like here, X will be like 43, sir.
X value will be 43. Okay.
And then same for the Y also.
Y also
Same 43, sir.
43. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Then what is the difference between this and this? Plus plus
That's
x,
what.
y is equal to x plus plus. If you write, just apply the concept. First, you need to identify whether it is pre or post.
Oh, yeah, sir, that's one. But here, like for this X plus plus concept, like we use X plus 1. So here the X is 40.
You just first find out whether it is pre-increment or post-increment. X plus plus is nothing but x plus 1 only. But when used in expression, is it a pre-increment or post-increment? That we need to identify.
Okay, so that
So
is
what is
post
it?
increment.
Post-increment.
Post
Post
increment.
means after. Post indicates what? After. We are telling after you increment. That means first what you need to do? First you assign. See here, there are two operations here. One is assign and second one is increment.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So that means first you assign x value to y, then you increment x value. Afterwards, that means afterwards means first you after performing, first you perform this assignment operation. then you increment x value. Post is the,
Oh,
that is the meaning of post there. Okay. So
okay.
x value is assigned to y. What is x value? 42
X
here.
value 42.
42. So 42 will be assigned to y. Okay.
Yes.
So y contains a 42 here. Y value will be 42 here.
42.
Okay. Then x is also 42 now. After assignment, what it will do? It increments x value. Okay. Then two
Yes.
operations are there now. One operation is over. Then it has to perform the second operation, increment. So then it increments the x
43.
value. X value becomes a 43. X value becomes 43. So after this statement, when you print x value, what is the current value of x? 43. And when you print y value, what is the value in y? 42.
42.
42 it prints like this. Okay, just don't get confused. See the previous slide and this slide. Now see. Here first we are asking to increment first, then you assign. Pre-increment. Increment first, then you assign afterwards. That's why both becomes
Okay.
43 here. But here post means afterwards.
We have to
That means first
assign
you
first
assign,
and then increment.
then you increment. That's all. Okay.
Okay.
So it is equivalent to this way. Okay. So internally, this is how it is done. First x value is assigned to y, then x value is incremented afterwards.
Okay.
Okay. Right. So these are very, very important. Generally in examinations, okay. So placement examinations, questions on increment, decrement operators will be asked mostly. Okay. So we should evaluate very carefully. Right. So this is a simple example program demonstrating increment and decrement operators. Okay, right? So actually, right. Now, quickly evaluate this and what are the A, B, C, D values? Tell me. So initially A is equal to 1, B is equal to 2, C and D. Okay, so go with memory diagrams better. Okay, so you tell the answer, I'll directly write answers here. This is memory for A. This is memory for B. You calculate yourself. Okay, so I'll be doing my own work. C, and this is the memory for D. Okay. Now you tell me what are the values of A, B, C, D. Be quick.
ABCD, sir.
Yeah, this
Like,
one. No, you execute
yeah,
statement by statement, and finally you tell me after first SOP what value is printed
like,
here, second SOP what value is printed. You need to execute from first line onwards,
yes.
line by line. Okay.
Like, C is answer 3, sir.
Okay, so C answer. So A value 1, B value 2 given. Okay, so when it comes here, C is equal to plus plus B. Okay,
Yes.
so plus plus B, C value is 3. Okay.
And D value is also the same 3.
D value is also same 3.
Yes.
3. D is what here? A plus plus, no?
Oh, yes. A is 1.
A1, B2. Then C is equal to plus plus B is right here. Is it now you tell me pre or post?
Which one, sir?
This statement in C is equal to plus plus B.
That is pre, sir.
Pre increment. Pre means first. Okay. So
First, like we have to do increment and then we have to assign.
assign. Okay. So first increment b value.
Increment B value is like 3, sir. So 2
But
plus 1
then
is 3.
you are not changing this b value. You are not telling this b value also becomes 3.
Oh,
First you need to change, b value. B value becomes 3. Okay. So then that b
okay.
value is assigned to c. So what is b value? 3. That 3 will be stored in c. C value will also become 3. Right. Next statement.
And D will be also 3, sir.
Huh? What is this?
D
D
is
is
also
just you right to left you evaluate. Now see, you are telling blindly. What is this? Is it A plus plus or C plus plus?
A plus plus, sir.
Then what is A value here?
1.
Then plus
So for
plus
the
means it,
post increment,
uh,
we assign and then we do the increment.
yes, okay, good.
So like A is like 1.
Uh,
So we have to assign for D.
okay.
And then 1 is equal to 1 plus 1.
No,
So
no.
it is
First
okay.
you perform that action. First action you perform. No.
So 1 minute.
Uh,
Sorry, sir. 2 is the answer.
no, no, no. You tell. Okay. So D value 2.
2.
No, no, no. Just see, you are not following the concept here. See, D is equal to A plus plus. You said first post increment, no? So first assign A value to D, you are saying. Yes
Yes,
or
sir.
no? So assign A value to D, you first assign, do that, assign A value. What
Yeah,
is A
when we
value?
assign 1.
1, that you assign to D. Assign to D, yeah, assigned. Then
1 and then we have to do the increment process.
increment of which?
A, okay, A.
Increment of A you have to do. Okay, so A value becomes now 2. A value becomes now 2. Okay, right? So then next,
Next is C plus plus.
C
So
plus,
C is 3. So 4 is the answer.
yeah, C value, because it is used individually. When you use individually, C plus plus or plus plus C, both increments the value by 1. Okay, so C value becomes a 4 here. C value becomes a 4. So when you print A, B, C, D values, what printed? Just you look into the memory diagrams. What is A value here?
2,
A value will be 2. Okay, so B value is 3.
3,
Then C
4,
value is
1.
4 and D value is 1.
1.
Okay, so is it same? 2, 3, 4, 1? Yes, 2, 3, 4, 1. Okay, so
Okay.
you need to do the operation first. Okay, so when you say D is equal to A plus plus, you are uh, working the concepts correctly, but you are not performing that action. Okay, so you said that A value is first we need to assign to D, then you increment. So directly you are going to A value, you are incrementing A value, but before incrementing, you need to perform assignment here. So that action you have to complete first. Afterwards, you need to increase.
Oh.
Otherwise, you will be
Oh.
Coming up with wrong answers. Okay.
Okay.
Right. So next, Boolean data type. As I said, data types. Okay. So there is a special data type called as Boolean data type in Java, which can store only two values, true and false. Okay.
Okay.
So it is one of the primitive data type like int, float, char. How we declare int, float, char? We can use same Boolean data type for declaring the variables. Okay, so examples we can see here. Boolean response is equal to false. It is a valid statement. Okay, similarly, Boolean answer is equal to true. It is also valid. And you cannot write like this: Boolean answer is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, some number. This is invalid because Boolean stores only these two values, true or false. Similarly, you cannot write in this form: Boolean response is equal to true enclosed in double quotes. No, you may be thinking that true is a string. No, true is a value here. Okay, so you should not write that in a double quotes. Directly true, false, these two words directly you can use just like a number. Okay, so generally why I talking about Boolean here is because the return type of relational and conditional operators is Boolean type, either true or false. Okay, so there we come across these two values, true and false values. Okay, so let us see relational operators, then we'll come to know. Yeah, the next type of operators are relational operators. Okay, so there are 6 relational operators: less than or equal to, greater than or equal to, that means double equal to, double equal to, and not equal to, not equals to. These 6 are called relational operators. Okay, so how we can use this? We can write like this: A less than B. How it can be read? A less than B. So this returns either true or false based on the values of A and B. Either true or false. Any one value will be written here. Similarly, A less than or equal to. This is how we write less than or equal to in programming. In mathematics, we write a line here. Okay, but in programming we have to type less than symbol, then followed by equal to symbol, then that will be taken as less than or equal to. A less than or equal to B. If any one of this is true, then this becomes a true. Okay, so either true or false value it returns. Similarly, A greater than B, A greater than or equal to B, A equal to B, comparison whether A value and B value both are same or not, it checks. Double equal to symbol, this is called. Okay, right. So these are the 6 relational operators: less than or equal to, greater than or equal to, double equal to, not equal to. So these always return a Boolean value, either true or false. For example, if I use a condition or a relational expression like this: 203 less than 652. Okay, so here it checks this and it returns a true here. Okay, so TRUE, true, the word will be printed here, not 1 or a 0 here. Okay, so it always prints a true. Similarly, if I use say 15 is greater than or equal to 225 like this. Okay, so this is a just a message I want to print onto the screen, that's why I included. And the corresponding relational expression is this. Similarly, for this, the relational expression is this: 15 greater than or equal to 25.0. Okay, then it returns false here. Okay, so we'll use these relational expression generally in a if condition for loops. We'll use these relational expressions mostly. Okay, so as we proceed, we'll come across these relational operators most of the times. Okay, then the next type of operators are logical operators. Okay, so vertical bar, 2 vertical bar, this is called logical OR operator, and double ampersand, this is called logical AND operator, and exclamatory mark, this is called logical NOT operator. These 3 are called as a logical operators. Okay, so when we use these logical operators, when we want to combine two relational expressions, that means more than one condition, when we want to test, we use these logical operators. We connect them by using these logical operators. Okay, so simple example program, if we look into, this is how we can use these logical operators in this. Okay, so 2 Boolean values I am taking here: A is equal to true, B is equal to false. Then if I write C is equal to A or B, A or B. Now see here, so A is what? True or false? True or false. In our truth table, if any one of them is true, then their expression value will become true here. Okay, so then the true will be stored in a C here. Okay, so C contains the value true here. Similarly, if I write an expression like this: D is equal to A and B, A and B, what is A value? True, and B is false. So true and false in AND truth table, if one of them is false, then the value of the expression will be false. So that's why D value will become false here. Similarly, if I write an expression in this way, okay, see, negation of A and B, or A and negation of B. Okay, so first this negation is evaluated first here. Okay, so A is what here? A value is true, not true. Not true means false. Okay, so this left hand side, this logical not gives the value, that means it negates, it inverts the value here. True means false, false will become true here. Okay, so not A will become false here, false, and B is also false. So false and false will be false. This entire thing will become false here. Or now coming to right hand side, A is what? True, true, and negation of B. B is what? False. Negation of false is true. So true and true is true. So right hand side will become true. So this left hand side for this logical OR, this is false or true. So in OR, if any one of them is true, then the value will become true. So F contains a true here. Similarly, G is equal to negation of A. A is what? True. Negation of A is false. So that false will be stored in a G. Okay. So like this, if you print these values here, A value will be printed as true, B will be printed as false, and this one. Okay. So A or B, C value, this one. Okay. So C value will be printed true here, and this expression value A and B, and I have not written this full. Okay. So that will be A and B will be printed as a false. Okay. And this will is true, and the negation of A will become false here. Okay, so this way we can use these logical operators when we want to test more than one condition at a time. Okay. Right. So next operator is assignment operator. Already knowingly, unknowingly, we are using this assignment operator, which is denoted by single equal sign. Single equal to sign represents the assignment operator. Okay, so the general form of assignment operator, how we use variable equals to expression. Okay, so when you write a statement like this, okay, so here variable and expression both should be of same type. Please remember. Okay, both should be of a same compatible type. Then only compiler evaluates this expression and assigns the value of expression to this variable. Okay, if value of this expression and variable value are not compatible, then compiler immediately gives error here. Okay, it gives error. This is not a valid statement, it says. Okay. Similarly, here assignment operator we can use as a chain of assignments. Example, I have three variables, say into x comma y comma z. Okay, so I can write in this way: x is equal to y is equal to z is equal to 1000. Instead of writing individual statement, x is equal to 1000, y is equal to 1000, z is equal to 1000. Okay, when you want to store the same value in three variables, you can write a chain of assignment statements in this way: x is equal to y is equal to z is equal to 1000. So how it is evaluated? From right to left, it is evaluated. First z value will be assigned. Okay, so z value will become 1000 here. Okay, so then this entire value will become 1000, and that 1000 will be stored in a y. Okay, so then this entire value will become 1000, and that 1000 will be stored in a x. Ultimately, x, y, and z both all the three contains the value 1000. This is valid in programming. Then next we have a special operator called as a conditional operator. Conditional operator, which is also called as a ternary operator. Okay, see here we have used arithmetic operators like a plus b. A plus b we have written here. Okay, so this plus operator requires how many operands here? 2 operands it requires. Okay, so that's why this is called as a binary operator. This is called as a binary operator. Binary, by means 2, which requires 2 operands. Similarly, you have written a plus plus, a plus plus, or x minus minus we have written. Okay, so this requires how many operands? Only one operand it requires. Okay, so such kind of operators are called as a unary operators. Unary operator means which requires only one operand, which requires only one operand. Okay, so operators are of three types: unary operator, or binary operator, or ternary operator. Ternary operator means which requires three operands, and one such operator is conditional operator. Conditional operator is a ternary operator which can be used to replace if then else statements. Okay, so instead of using if then else statements, we can use this conditional operator, and then length of your program also reduces here. Okay, so how it is represented, conditional operator? It is represented by the symbol question mark followed by colon. Question mark followed by colon. This is how the conditional operator is represented by this symbol. Okay, so the general form of conditional operator is in this form: expression 1, then followed by question mark, then followed by expression 2 colon expression 3 ending with a semicolon. Okay, so this is the general form of a conditional operator, how it is used in program. Okay, so how this statement is evaluated by the compiler. Okay, so first what it will do is expression 1 is evaluated first. This value of this expression 1 is calculated. Okay, and finally it should return to either true or false value. It should return a Boolean value, please remember. Okay, and if this expression 1 value is true, then this expression true is calculated. That means it evaluates expression 2. If this expression 1 value is false, then this expression 3 is evaluated. Expression 3 is evaluated. That means at any point of time, either expression 2 or expression 3 is evaluated, but not both. Please remember, either this or this is evaluated, but not both. Based on this expression 1 value, if this is true, then it goes to this. If this is false, if the value of this is false, then it goes to this expression 3. It jumps to this expression 3. It skips this expression 2 and jumps to expression 3. Okay, so a simple example statement how we can write using this conditional operator. Just see here. So ratio is equal to denominator is equal to 0. Now this is expression 1. This is our expression 1. So here we are checking whether denominator value is equal to 1. Okay, so if this is true, then it goes to this first statement which is present before the colon. Okay, so then it evaluates this 0, and that 0 will be assigned to ratio. This is the variable here, left hand side. See here, this entire thing is assignment. Okay, assignment statement is there. So that means something from the right hand side must be stored in this variable ratio. Okay, so what value comes to this variable? If this value is true, then 0 will be stored in ratio. If this value is false, then it goes to the second part of this one. Okay, so num divided by denominator it performs, and the result value will be stored in this ratio. That's how this statement is executed. Okay, right. So these are different operators. There are other operators like bitwise operators, which requires a separate lecture for that. Okay, so in other lecture, in other video, we'll record those bitwise operators. Now, a best example for conditional operator is finding greatest of two numbers. Instead of using if then else statement, if else statement, we can use conditional operator here. So what we do is we'll write a simple program using conditional operator to find the greatest of two numbers. Okay, so we'll go back to our Java programs. Okay, so open the notepad, will open. Okay, so some Java file I'll open. And then here I say new. Okay, so here say class, we'll say conditional operator example. Okay, conditional operator example. Then write the main method, say public static void main. Then inside the parenthesis say string args Okay, so here greatest of two numbers we require now. So what we do is we declare two variables, something int a is equal to something like a 5. Okay, then int b equal to something like a 7. Okay, so then we can use the conditional operator like this. Say whether a greater than b question mark, whether a greater than b question mark. Okay, so if this is true, what does it mean? A is greater. If this is false, what does it mean? B is greater. Okay, based on a and b values, then this expression is evaluated. Okay, so if this is true, what is the action to be performed? We need to write here. If this is false, what is the action to be performed? We need to write after the colon here. Okay, so there are two parts for this, true part and a false part. Okay, if this is true, what I would like to do is I would like to print the value a value here. Okay, so say print ln. Okay, simple message, a is greater. I would like to print here, a is greater. Then if this is false, I would like to print b is greater. So you can even write a printers method here. Okay, so here I say b is greater, b is greater. End with a semicolon. Okay, so then finally what I do is I just take this here so that you can see. Then close the main method here, then close the class here. Okay, so we'll save this with this class name. Let me save this. .java. Use double quotes to save the file name. Okay, then say all files here. Okay, so then save. Is it clear? Okay, so I have assigned a value as 5, b value as 7. Okay, so now for these values, which one is printed? What is the output we'll expect from this program? Yes, Sejal.
Yes, sure. Like, we get false here.
False. Okay, so 5 greater than 7 means false. So where it goes? It jumps to
B is
second.
greater.
Jumps to second print method. Okay, so then it comes here and it prints b is greater. Let us see whether we'll get the same thing or not. Okay, so we'll go back to command prompt, E drive. Okay, so then say cd java programs. Okay, so let us compile the .java. Yeah, there is one error. Okay, so not a statement, it says a greater than b question mark system.out.println a is greater, system.out.println b is greater. One error we are getting here. So why we are getting error, that we need to look into. Okay, so is it okay? System.out.println a is greater.
System, like, sir, is capital only, sir.
System, yeah, system is a class name, no? System is a class name, no? It is capital. Similarly, system.out.println b is greater. Okay, so then ending with a semicolon. So why it is not allowing, that we need to look into. Yes, so everything is okay. So let us see. So that means it is not allowing to write this println method here. Println method, it is not allowing. Okay. So we have to use expressions or some values here instead of a println method here. Okay, so what we do is we modify this. Then what we do is we'll take another variable into something like int big will take. Okay, so then we'll say big is equal to, okay, big is equal to either which one is big, then we assign the corresponding value to big. Okay, so a greater than b. If a greater than b true, what does it mean? It goes to this part. Okay, so a is big, no, so the a value will be assigned to variable big here. Okay, otherwise b will become big and that b value will be assigned to big here. Okay, so afterwards we can print that variable big and we'll get biggest of two numbers. Okay, so system dot out dot print ln. Okay, so then say big is equal to, then say plus big. I'm printing this big value. Okay, so save the program, then compile the code again. Yes, so no errors. That means system dot out dot println we cannot use as a expression there. Okay, conditional operator, no class definition found here. Okay, so that means I need to set the class path here. Okay, so just wait. C program files. Okay, so Java JDK bin. Okay, so I need to copy this, then set path and class path. Okay, so set path is equals to,
Why do we get that kind of what do we say, sir? That kind of lines in the middle of the program, sure. Like
yeah.
before program was executed, and why again now?
No, before program we have not executed. There was an error. Class file not created. No, dot class file
Okay,
not
okay,
created. Here now the
okay.
dot class file is created. We are trying to execute that dot class file. Okay, then it is saying that no class definition found. Conditional operator. That means it is unable to locate this dot class file. Okay, so we need to show the path at some place. My class file is present, please go and execute that class file. That we need to inform by setting this path. Okay, when you set the path, then your OS will come to know where is your class file, conditional operator example dot class file. Then it goes there and gets the value, gets that class file and executes. Okay, so similarly set class path is equal to, okay, so now what we do is we'll compile again. Okay, so then we'll execute here. Now you can see here big is equal to 7. Okay, so by
Sir,
default
like,
see
could you please open the notepad?
yeah, 1 second. See here why we are getting, please remember, whenever there is a exception like no class definition found error. Okay, so that means your class path is not a set. Okay,
Okay,
so by default see your Java is installed in C drive.
yeah, yeah.
So it tries to look into C drive, but you have stored your dot class file in a E drive. Okay, so that you need to inform. That's why my dot class file is in so and so E drive. Okay, so you are informing here. Okay, class path you are setting. Then
Sir, actually, like,
yeah,
I'm not clear with the program, sir.
yeah, 1 second. Yeah, here this is the program. Now what we are doing is we are trying to find a greatest of two numbers using conditional operator here. Okay, if that is the question, how we need to write the program? Now just see here. So two variables we require now, to store the two values. So I have taken two variables, A as 5, B as a 7. Then I have taken another variable big, which stores biggest of these two numbers.
Okay.
Okay. So, but I have to use conditional operator. Okay. So how I can use conditional operator? Forget about this. How you can frame the statement? Conditional
First
operator.
expression has to have.
First you have to write the condition, whether A greater than B. You need to check here. Okay. If this is
Yes.
true, what does it mean? A is greater.
It go evaluates the second
It,
expression.
it,
If
it
not,
has to
it goes to the
evaluate this
third.
one. Okay. So that means
Yes.
this A value has to be stored in a big. Okay. So that's why
Okay.
we write A here. If this is false, after the colon, we write B here. That means this B value will be stored into big. Now see here, this entire thing should give you a value which should be stored in a big here. There is assignment
So
here.
then,
Yeah.
okay. Then how do we use this true and false, sir? Because
Which one?
Boolean operation.
Yeah, this is
how
what
do
true
we?
here. No, see here. A
Yeah.
greater than B. What is the A here? 5. 5 greater than 7? No, false. When you
False.
here you are getting the result as false. Okay, so what happens? False means it jumps to this part after the column. Second part it jumps
Okay.
to. So then it goes to this statement. If you have written some expression, it calculates value of that expression, and finally that will be stored in a big, because there is only variable here, that B value will be stored in a big. Okay. B value will be stored in a big. So big contains, what is B value? 7. 7 will be stored in a big here. Okay. When you say system.out.println big is equal to, what is value? Big. See here. Big is equal to 7. 7 it prints. Okay. Clear?
Okay.
Right.
Yes.
Now the assignment for you is, this is the assignment. Find the biggest of three numbers. Biggest of three numbers using conditional operator. Okay, so this is the assignment question. Write program for this and send it to my WhatsApp.
Okay.
Okay, so apply the concept and how conditional operator is evaluated. Use that concept and try to write the program to find greatest of three numbers. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Right.